Ba-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. It's Tuesday. So what does that mean? It's Soultiful. And today we have a very inspirational journey. We'll be talking with a lovely young man who is going to talk about going from inmate to inspiration. We need that right before this Memorial holiday and with all that's happening. So let's get started. Welcome to another edition of Soultiful.
Hi, and welcome to Soultiful.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Yes, it is Soultiful. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Exactly.
We can match your enthusiasm.
You welcome to Soultiful. It's great, sis.
So what y'all trying to say about my enthusiasm?
No,
We love it. I just wasn't ready. Homie.
That's what my clients say when I talk to them. Girl, take it down. I be like, we woke up this morning. You got to be thankful for something. I mean. But anyway, welcome to Soultiful, everyone. Today is going to be a great show because you know me, I'm all about the kingdom business. And anytime I hear about someone's success from where they were to where they have grown to, it is an inspiration and an enlightenment just to figure out how they made that journey. So we are welcoming Cardell Sims today to our show. But before we get started, we've got to ask, what you working on? So today I was working on getting some proposals. Me and Dubsado, we was fighting, but we got it together. So I'm working on some proposal and then getting ready for some lead generation calls that I'm going to be doing over the next couple days. And then Toya, you know what Toya does best. Did I tell you that we were meeting? So we have a couple meetings upcoming this week. Nakia, what you working on?
Today I worked on researching some KPIs for my boss, and that was all I did. It was just a really frustrating day.
That's all you did today?
That's all I did today.
You're usually more successful than me.
Well, I started out with an internet outage, so I couldn't do anything this morning because the internet had been out since 2 o'clock this morning. So I couldn't get on until 9 something, and I go to work at 7. So it was very frustrating this morning.
You know, I'm starting to think Toya and all her problems with the internet are rubbing off on us because Saturday I lost power. Today you got internet issues. And yeah, we might need to check on that. Toya,
On me.
beware. Toya, what you working on?
But hold up, I just don't understand why I always be the issue. I always be the extra one. Y'all, I ain't even extra. I always be the problem. The internet. Why you gonna blame that on me, homie?
Who did that?
You.
I did.
You said I think Toya's internet issues are rubbing off on everybody else.
Oh, okay. That was the old me. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's cool. So today, I something I don't typically do. I made a lot of client calls. I was on the phone for a large part of the morning talking to clients and just working on client scheduling meetings and so forth. So it was very client based this morning.
Yeah,
That's good. She's going after that income goal, aren't you?
That's right. So I have not made my income goal yet for this month, and so one of our coach told us, Toya, go out there, start talking to people, and so I'm just trying to close up them loose ends so I do make it the income goal. So yeah, thank you for that reminder, Nakia. I'm doing it.
The success of this all is that she picked up the phone. That is the success in it. Toya don't like a telephone.
She don't like the phones?
No, baby. You could throw the phone out the window. She'll talk to that computer all day long and probably herself. But that telephone,
yo,
baby, she don't do that telephone.
You know how people have their phone with them? They don't leave the house without their telephone. I'm like that with my laptop. Yeah, I don't
forget the phone, just the laptop.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Cardell, what you working on?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been working on content creation all day today, building up more content for my social media sites, and
Nice.
then had a meeting with my team today, possibly going after a couple grants for juvenile reentry and adult
Ooh,
reentry.
Ooh,
Very good.
ooh, oh, ooh. Okay, now we about to get into the meat of things. Wait,
that's
wait, wait. Let me
nice.
tell y'all a little bit about Cardell, and then we could get it because I want to know about this stuff. Guess
Yes.
what? So Cardell has overcome poverty, gangs, and prison to become a speaker, author, certified empowerment coach, and business owner. And already, from what he told us that he's working on, we're already intrigued to get to know him more. After doing state and federal time. Wait, so you did state and federal. I'm gonna ask about that later. Cardell has walked out of the prison gates with a blueprint that he put together while incarcerated. See, I tell people while people are incarcerated, they're not just sitting there twiddling their thumbs and playing basketball. There are really some men and women who are preparing for them life so that they can be successful when they get out. His story and his journey is that of an intimate inmate to inspiration. Cardell shares valuable information he learned and applied to free himself from his own destruction. Welcome, Cardell Simpson. Thank you for being an inspiration.
Thank you
So
for
Yes,
having me.
bro.
I want to know state and federal time. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Oh yeah, state prison was the first time I did prison time. I've been in state prison several times. I was 22 years old. I caught my first drug case. I got probation, and as soon as I got probation, I wasn't worried about going to prison or probation. I was right back in the mix of things. Caught another drug case along with a gun case, and I got sentenced to 7 year to 12 year sentence into the Missouri Department of Corrections. They was ran consecutively. For those that don't know, consecutively means I do the 7 year sentence, and once I'm done with the 7 year, then I start doing the 12 before I get released. So I
Hmm.
had a total of 19 years. So just like you said, I actually my first several prison bids, I didn't do nothing but play basketball and didn't do nothing my time. So that's what caused me to continue to go back because I wasn't preparing myself. So I get out of state prison, I go right back because all I did was play basketball, drink coffee, smoke cigarettes, and things like that, and didn't do nothing with my time. Then the federal government ended up picking me up. So when they handed me a piece of paper saying Cardell Sims versus the United States of America, I had that was the like that just stood out to me. Like me versus the United States, like I knew this was real serious.
Yeah, wow.
And I didn't know when I was gonna be released, but I knew whenever I would be released, I was gonna have to be ready to not ever come back again.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow. So you did so the state so you did the state bid which was in Missouri. And was excuse me, was your federal bid still in Missouri or did they move you to another location?
No, I was in Kansas. I was in Kansas.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Wow.
Leavenworth.
So after the first drug, of course, and was your drug for leisure or was that for survival?
No, my drug was survival. Yeah. I mean, I used marijuana and stuff like that, but that drug I was selling, it was crack and it was cocaine, and that was for survival.
Wow. And this was in Kansas too?
This was in Missouri. I'm originally from Missouri, a little bit
Okay.
east of Kansas City. I'm on central
Okay.
Missouri.
I would never think somewhere that far would have. Maybe I'm just, when
Yeah,
you think of inner cities, you don't. My Missouri, Wyoming. I'm thinking y'all
I mean,
just in the lily of the
no,
valley
no,
or
no,
however.
no. I know you heard Kansas
Yeah,
City,
but
St.
I
Louis.
know Kansas City and say, but I don't know. Sometimes I just think when I think if I don't hear the city, I don't think nothing. I think all the other areas are kind of rural. It's just like here. Atlanta is popping, but when you hear somebody say Lawrenceville or
Yellow
Macon, you're not, yeah, Villa Rica, you're not
Yeah.
thinking they do. You think they in the field somewhere. So
right?
it just it's just throwing me off a bit. And so during your childhood, so I'm presuming because during your childhood you had a successful childhood, and then eventually you started hustling,
No,
or
no, no. This nah, it wasn't no successful childhood. This started in the childhood. Like I grew up. My mom was on crack. My father wasn't nowhere around. Like he'd come in the picture every 4 or 5 years. He'd come from out of town, be like, "Hey, you want to go with me?" That's my dad. So I'm like, "Yeah," but he really wasn't nowhere around the picture. The household I grew up in was dysfunctional. Everybody in the household I grew up in that was adult was an addict, whether it was crack or whether it was alcohol. My grandmother was an alcoholic. My grandpa was an alcoholic. He died when I was about 3 or 4. But all my aunties are recovering addicts, crack, and then my uncles were alcoholics. So I grew up in this. And at an early age, I learned how to hustle. At an early age, when I used to go to grade school, we had a Lay's potato chip company. They used to leave their garage door open. So what I would do is I would run in there and grab about 4 or 5 bags of chips on the way to school because it was just right up the street. And I go to school and sell the chips. So I learned how to start hustling and that mentality at an early age. So by the time I was a teenager, I was already involved in gangs. I was already involved in gangs, drinking alcohol, using drugs. I'm like 12 or 13, and then just started selling drugs. And so I was getting into a lot of violent stuff as well. And I ended up catching an attempted murder case at 15 years old, which put me in a foster home only because I could play basketball. I was real good at basketball. So coaches came to court and explained the living situations that I was living in, mother being on drugs, no guidance and nothing. I was basically raising myself. And so they spoke on my behalf and they got me in a foster home. And so while I was in a foster home, I had a stipulation to graduate high school. Prior to this, I graduating high school wasn't nowhere. Four out of 6 of my friends had already dropped out, 13, 14. So I was on the verge. I was just really going to school just to play basketball.
So even in I guess your love for basketball, that couldn't push you past. I guess. Well, no. I guess if you need to survive, you're gonna survive first over love of extracurricular activity. But even when you got into the foster home, basketball never became your first love in regards to, okay, maybe if I keep doing this basketball, I can get to college, or nowhere did that ever sink in your mental thoughts?
And it's crazy you asked it because up until that point, no, I didn't think about playing no college basketball and none of that. I had this belief that I was a product of my environment, gang banging, fighting, drugs. Like I was used to this. So when I got put in the foster home, which was a totally on a whole nother different side, different family structure, full family, foster mother, foster dad, brothers and sisters. Like it was a family that took me in. That used to coach me at AAU, so they took me in as foster parents. So I started to see a different side of life, but I kept that mentality like I'm a product. I'm a street dude. I come from the streets. I'm the product of my environment. And so that hindered a lot of my expectations for myself. I didn't have no expectations for myself, but to be a street dude. And so when I ended up playing basketball my junior and senior year with the stipulation I had to graduate, I started getting offer letters from colleges to play basketball from Missouri, Iowa, a couple of junior colleges and things like that. And then that's when I made up my mind like, hey, I could possibly go to college. And so I ended up going to college. That's how I know about Villa Rica, Carrollton, them area in Georgia, because I went to University of West Georgia.
Oh, did you? I know quite a few graduates from there.
Yeah, I went when it was the Braves, not the Wolves. We was the Braves when I went.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you went way back.
Yeah, I went way back. So I ended up going there, but I still had this, it was just in me, the street stuff was in me. So when I got to Georgia, first thing I did was surround myself with street people. People on my team was from Atlanta, their cousins and everything come to the game, come to the campus, and I would go hang out with them. So I'm back into selling drugs and everything while I'm in college. I mean, that's just the mentality that I had. Like it was always survival mode for me. So when I got to college and I was out the foster home, it was like I'm back to really surviving. So outside of playing basketball and going to school, I'm selling drugs and I'm gang banging at the same time still.
Is there any way that you know of that a person can change their ways while keeping their associates?
No, you have to change your associates because that's what I was doing. I kept surrounding myself around people that I was used to being around, that was in the streets, selling drugs, driving nice cars, gang banging. No matter where I went, that's what I surrounded myself with. And all the way up to I went to prison. Even when I was doing the prison time, I do prison. Like I did my first prison bid, I did almost 7 years. So I go do the prison bid, I get out, I go right back to the same neighborhood, hanging around the same people, the same gang, my block, same environment. So eventually, I was going to start selling the same drugs. I was going to start doing the same thing. And I didn't take no time. I went right back to it. And every time I got out of prison and hung around the same environment, the same people, and surrounded myself with them people, I went back to prison. Except for the last time when I got out the federal prison, I was like, I'm gonna move away. I'm just gonna do all this over, and then plus I had a plan, I had a blueprint that I had written up to follow once I was released.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw the paper that, and I know we kind of jumping all over. You saw the paper that it was you versus the United States. Instantly, you was like, okay, no, I need to get it together, or however. When you came out, what was the first thing that you was like, okay, I know when I get out this jail, I am going to, and I am shifting my mind here. What was those first thoughts?
When I got out of prison, I'm sticking to the script. That's what I had when I walked out of federal prison. I had no money, none of that. All I had was 4 brown legal folders. I still got these 4 folders to this day. I wish I would have brought them down so I could show you. I had these 4 brown legal folders that had everything that I studied, from business law to self to just everything about growing. Ideas, plans, and goals. Everything was in these folders, books and all. And this was my blueprint. This was my plan. So when I got out, my thing was, I'm got to stick to the script. This is the first time I'm doing in it. I ain't worrying about no food. I'm not worrying about no women. I got to stick to the script. I got to start off where I see myself starting at. This is the start. Let's go. That's how I was when I got out. It's time. Let's go.
Ooh. I mean, I'm just empowered in just these few moments. Hi, everybody. I forgot to welcome our listeners out there who are there with us. So far, you've gotten some great reviews. Okay, Letitia. Well, China says testimony. Letitia says, OMG. Cardell looks like The Rock.
Oh, no.
Do you get that, Cardell?
No. And people mistake me for one lady. I was in a hotel one time doing a speech, and I was going to my room, and one lady said, Curtis, is that you? And I'm like, nah, my name not no Curtis. She's like, oh, I thought you was 50 Cent. I'm like, come on now.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch.
Yeah. I'm like, come on, like, are you intoxicated? Like, let's be for real. So then I was in a drive-through one time, and one lady said she thought I was LL Cool J. I said, man, this is getting out of hand.
I feel that vibe in the bald head and the brown skin.
He ain't licking his lips enough for LL. The glasses sort of turning him off, and he don't have on no cap. But yeah, you might.
He got the swag. He got the swag.
It's a 30% for the LL. The background though is amazing. The background,
love it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Concrete bricks. The color of concrete bricks. I did that on purpose because I come for the bricks, and from the streets it's different, a lot of different stuff going on. I say colors, a lot of different colors going through different lenses. Everybody out here trying to survive. Everybody here trying to make it. People going the right way, people going the wrong way. People just trying to get to a point where they're comfortable and satisfied with their lives. And so that's what the bricks represent. Like everybody coming from a different place, but we all trying to grind hard and get to a destination.
So you mentioned earlier in our opener what you were working on, and I know we're just continuing to jump over the place, but one of China's questions is, have you thought about mentoring troubled kids or young adults? So go ahead and you can go into what you were talking about earlier.
That's what I love to do. That's my passion. Especially with the children, because they're coming into teenage years and they're in situations like I was in. Like you go home and it's no hope. and people would tell them this and people would tell them that, and sometimes you don't relate. They don't relate to people, but when I come in, they're like, oh yeah, we relate. I don't really wear suit and ties a lot. I come in there dressed, I like to be comfortable when I'm talking to people, and so I come in there and it's fun. I do youth build programs. For those who don't know what youth build programs are, they're around the United States. I have a contract with them. Pre COVID, pre-COVID, we had a contract where I would go in to the youth builds. They are programmed to hold people from 16 to 24. They don't have you can't have a GED or high school diploma to be in the program because they help you get them. Then they help you get either construction skills and many other different programs, barber license and things of that nature. Um, and then they have the education department of the youth build. So I have a contract. I had a contract with the youth build where I would go to all the youth builds in the Missouri, Kansas, Illinois. Work one on one with the students, and that's great. And they more adapt. They're not. One thing I found out about a lot of children is they're not stuck into their ways. They're open to see change. They're open to see the greatness inside of them. A lot of times when I deal with the brothers and sisters that's coming out of prisons, I had to bump heads because we stuck in our ways at an older age. Like, nah, man, this is this, so I had to push them more and challenge them more, the adults, than I do with the youth, because a lot of adults still have 30, 40 years worth of beliefs that they've been all their lives they've been living under this, and now they realize that this is not right. And so now they have to break that habit. They have to break that thought process. And we all know how hard it is to break someone that's already standing firm in their beliefs.
So how long? And I don't think we asked this question, or if I might have missed it. How long have you been out of prison?
I've been out of prison for 3.5 years. I just got off federal probation January 1st, 2021.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. And you went in at the age of?
So I went in my first time I went to prison. I went in at 22. I got out at 29, going on 29. I went back to prison about 31, got out 32. Then I had some technical violations like association, dropping dirties that sent me back and things of that nature. I used to make music. I used to rap, and so about rap would be my life.
That explains the Cool J. There we go. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Are you gonna rap for us, Cardell? I mean, come on.
I put my mic down. But I'm trying to find a way to incorporate some music into what I do now. So hopefully, I would get that on track. But I got to sit back to prison on a technical violation for putting the judge and the prosecutor in some of my music. So I got sent back on technical.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's just so the judge or the prosecutor get the hold of the PO and say, oh, he got a video of us and find something to violate him about. And during this time, you could have found anything because I was doing any and everything. I've been violated for real. Probably wasn't even checking in with the PO. So they was just like, you got to catch me. But when I went to the feds, I was 34 years old. And no, I'm already up in age. I'm like, I do not want to be in prison 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, because I've seen people in prison 40, 50, 60, 70 years in prison. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Cardell Sims versus United States, and I'm on conspiracy charges. They picked me and 31 other people up. They picked my whole neighborhood, my whole gang up. And so we facing conspiracy charges, gang activity, ATF's there about guns and murders. And so it was like everybody's facing 10 to life. And so we're like, whenever I get out of this is what I'm going to do. And the only way I'm going to do this is I got to start here. So I went to the feds at 34. I came out right before my 40th birthday, and about 39th birthday. Mm-hmm. And I got out, and this is what I've been on ever since. I ain't looked back, ain't associated with the same people. Like I see, we friends on Facebook, but as far as us we on two different levels now. I'm on it ain't nothing personal, but it is personal. For me, it's personal. As towards y'all, it's not personal. And this is what I've been doing. Like I'm sticking to the blueprint that I left prison with. People say, "Well, how'd you get there?" I had it mapped out. Everything that I do has been mapped out, so I know what the next move. So once I completed everything, like I knew about the books. I already knew I was going to write the books. I had it planned out. I knew I was going to get the life coaching because I knew I wanted to do some kind of coaching when I got out because I was good at helping people. Even in prison, guys would come to me and say, Cardell, can you help me with this? Or look over this. Tell me what this means. And every conversation was about growth. So people attracted to me. So I said, I'm going to get in coaching. So I figured out what it takes to become a life coach. How much? Well, the first question was, well, how much does a life coach make? So that's what I want to know first. How much do they make for us to get into this? But I just wanted to find everything out about life coaching. I studied it. And so when I got out, I was in a halfway house. And while in the halfway house, I was working as a telemarketer from 7 in the morning to 2 p.m. And after 2 p.m., I was taking life coaching courses for about 2 hours. Then I'd type up my books. And that was my routine. I work out, and that was my routine over and over. So when I left out the halfway house, I had 3 books typed up. I was a master certified empowerment life coach. I had money saved up, and I had my plans. Like this is step 1. This is a 100-step process. I just knocked out step 1. Let's get on to step 2.
But Carter, hold up. I understand having strategies in place and writing it down, making it plain. But listen to your backstory. How in the world did you jump from in and out of prison and the lifestyle and the family life to being that focused and to be able to carry out that plan? Did you do that by yourself, or did you have people supporting you? Like how did you really do that? That leap.
Only thing. The support that I was getting from people was, I need this book. If you can order this book, like I would never ask for money. It would be, if you can order this book for me, if you can, I appreciate it. So that was support. People
Nice.
giving me books and stuff like that I knew I needed in order to grow. What made me get so focused was that it was just something about Cardell Sims versus the United States of America. Like I was like versus the state of Missouri was cool, or the county I came from, that's cool. But now it's like the United States of America. And if you in the street game and people, once the feds, everybody, you hear the rappers talking about it, the feds knocking, So once the feds got you, they got you. Like this if you operating in the streets. If the feds got you, they got you. If you don't know this, you don't need to be operating in the streets. So feds came and got us. They came and got 31 of us. So when I walked in there, I see my whole neighborhood inside the federal courthouse holding cell. So I'm thinking they pick me up, and I walk in there, and I'm saying, "Oh, whoa, oh, wait, uncle." They got my uncle, cousins, like the whole. It's like a whole family. So it's like, oh man, this is serious. And then they walked us in the courtroom and handed me that paper and had my charges: conspiracy, aid in the bed, 10 to life, 5 to 40, things like that. And like I seen these numbers before, because every time I caught a case, these numbers was like this. But versus the United States of America, it was a whole new different ball game. And right then and there, I asked myself one question: why do I keep finding myself in these situations? And I answered that question too. Like, this is why you keep finding yourself. And I realized that I wasn't the only victim of my actions, but I was the first victim of my actions. Like, I'm getting worse out of this, And so I focused in, like, something got to change. And this one's got to change. My thought process, my mindset. I had to make a mental shift. And that came from reading different books: Knowledge of Self, Science of Self, Seed of the Soul, Super Rich, Religion, just a lot of different books. And I just went from there.
So let me just say that to our viewers, like reading, I mean, that's fine. You got, social media and all that kind of stuff, but reading will transform your mind. It will change your life. If you sat down with a book and then another book and another book, it will really transfer your life. Because you didn't tell me you had this coach helping you, this mentor helping you. You said that the fear of the feds, that was the thing. And then you read. And it likens, it makes me think about Malcolm X's story. You know what I'm saying? Look at all he could accomplish just from reading. That man probably had like a PhD when he left prison. So Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing, bro. That is amazing.
So, just to reiterate, everyone, if you're just joining us, we are definitely talking to Cardell Sims. as he tells his story about journey from inmate to inspiration. And so before we get back to some of the comments, I wanted to ask, when you got out, did you even have a desire to see your biological family or even your foster family?
And so one thing about my family is that we always been tight. My mother was now she's 25. She just celebrated her 25th year being clean and sober. And so
Hey, I'm
yeah,
sorry. That's what's up,
so,
mama.
so
Shout out to mama.
that's where I draw that strength from. Seeing that, like I see my mom overcome a lot, so I know it's in me to overcome whatever it is that I'm going through. I know I'm built for this. I know that's why I used to tell myself in prison, like I'm better than the situation that I'm in. But how I'm going to prove that I'm better? Me keep coming back and forth showing that I'm not better. But me never coming back shows that I am better. I knew I was better than the situation that I was in. So my family structure has always been tight. It's just that everybody was going through their. Like I said, like my mother. I was the middle child, and my mother had me when she was 16.
Okay. Okay.
You see, so
Mm.
I got older sister that's a couple years older than me. Then I have a brother that's 6 years younger than me.
Okay.
But we always had a strong family. So when I got out of prison, my support system that I had was my family, my mother, my stepdad, my brother, my sisters.
Okay.
And I just kept it amongst them. As far as my foster family, I kind of grew away from them really once I left their house. Because that was kind of like a 2-year break for me. Let me just take a 2-year break from the streets, graduate, get a college scholarship, and then once I go to college, I'm back off on my own. I don't have nothing over me, no probation, nothing. Let's go. And it was right back into the same thing. But I still hold a relationship with them because I've been knowing my foster parent family all my life. Like I used to play with
Oh.
their sons. The dad was our AAU coach, so he would come and gather the kids up from the neighborhood, and everybody's gonna play sports. I don't care what sport you're gonna play. He's gonna put you in every sport there was: basketball, soccer, tennis. He didn't care. He was gathering up the kids. Everybody played sports.
Okay.
So I always had a relationship with them prior to me even moving in with them.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's good.
China says, I guess this is similar. Your story is similar to hers. It's mine too, but my story is not as strong as yours. I worked for the Department of Children's Services and enjoyed it, but it's more to life, and I'm still learning. Wow, wow.
So,
It's a
China,
process.
your story is strong, sis. You're gonna reach somebody based on your background and your story. So, all of our stories are strong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all of your books are self-published.
Yeah, all of my books. So while I was incarcerated, I wrote 3 novels. I first got in there reading novels. I can do this. This ain't nothing. Wrote 3 novels. Got that out the way. Just I write. I was in jail. I write a book in a month and a half. Even out here now, once I decide, okay, it's time to write another book, I write it in a month and a half. So, but I didn't know the publishing game. So
Oh.
that was inside the notes, though. I'm writing a book, okay, but this is what you need to know with the publishing. So I'm writing down all the publishing companies from all the books that I ordered. I look in the back. Oh, that's the publishing company. I write name, phone number, address down. Like I'm gonna get all these people when I get out, But then when I got out, a published author showed me about the KDP Kindle publishing and things of that. And so at the time they had Create Space. I think Kindle Publishing took over Create Space, but you go to Create Space. And then I started understanding the publishing game because when I was in music, I understood the publishing for music. So I knew. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start a publishing company. I'm gonna publish my own books through my company. So that way I can get more of the royalties. I just got to make the connections and push it out there. It just so happened that Amazon, when I got out, Amazon was already set, ready to go. And then, I was like, oh man, but this is a little bit more easier than I thought. So I just started pushing my books to Amazon and ordering copies, and then just started selling books out the trunk. So like when I started my company by just doing free seminars but I would make money selling my books and T-shirts.
Okay. Okay. Residual income. Okay.
I love it. I love it.
Wow. When's your birthday?
August 10th.
Okay. You's a Leo.
Leo, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So Cardell, I feel like I feel like the skills you learn out in the streets are very transferable. You can use those to be great. In your own business, so forth and so forth. So my question to you, or so this is how I feel. I feel like when people come out, they need to start a business. I think they should start businesses because no one's asking you about your record and all that. They just want to know that you can, help them, support them. So what is your take on that? Do you think that people need to find a job first, or should they go ahead and start a business? What do you think?
When this is one part of the thing I work in on one of my reentry courses is employment. And I always tell this, and because this is what I stuck by when I got out.
Mm-hmm.
You get out of prison, everybody says, "Yo, you got to get a job. You need to get a job. You got to do this. Get a job ASAP." And what happens is people go get jobs that doesn't fit them, and so they're not there but 2-3 weeks, and then they quit because it doesn't fit them, and so they
You
all
need to say that again.
and so when you get out of prison, find a job that fits you. I knew I was a great communicator. Telemarketing was a good job. To be over there and just say, talk to people out of getting people out of their timeshare contracts. That ain't nothing.
Nice.
All you gotta do is just talk negative about what the time. Hey man, look, you might want to get out of this contract because your maintenance fees is killing you. You're not getting to use the timeshare on the vacations that you want to, so you're never getting to use it. You just really holding on to it, and it's costing you more money. Let me help you get out of this. It's as simple as that. But I'm a great communicator. So I got a job that played to my strength. And a lot of times when we get out of prison, people want you to just take a job, and it doesn't play to any strengths that you have. And so you end up quitting. And so if you're an entrepreneur and you got the funds or you got a plan to set up to get out and transition into entrepreneurship, that's the best bet because you don't have to worry about, like you say, I ain't got to worry about you asking me no questions about my felony record.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm able to use my strengths and my skills that I have towards something productive that I want to do and get paid for it. I know a lot of brothers that got out, started power washing companies, and it'd be simple stuff, started lineman, yard services. One guy started glass cleaning where he goes to the car lots and he cleans all the glass on all the cars and he does little small buildings and banks. He ain't gonna get on no ladder or nothing like that. He's at heights, but he mastered the one level window washing game.
Wow. When you think about that is a real need because you think about if you go to a city like Atlanta, we got a car lot every other block. So you imagine if he just took the whole block, the kind of residuals he would be making. Man, that is mad funny.
I recently talked to I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying I recently talked to a brother that was incarcerated for many years, and he is a general contractor, and he has contracts with the government making millions and millions and millions of dollars. Like he has so much work he can't even, see straight. And, if he went next door to McDonald's to get a job, they'd be like, no, because you got a felony. Right. So I think it's just amazing the possibilities if we just, but like you said, I think it was really key what you said, Cardell. You need to have a plan if you want to transition to, entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to get out and just say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you don't know, like people don't understand how hard, like me, for example, I looked at entrepreneurship as being easy until I got off into entrepreneurship.
That part.
Like every 3 months, I'm kind of like, man, forget it, it's just something. But I got built up because not only was I investing all that time and energy into what I was building, I knew I had to continue to get education. So what do I need to educate myself about now? Entrepreneurship. So I joined the entrepreneurship program.
Nice.
It cost me, when I first started, it was $97 a month, but I've been in it so long, I only paid $29. And it's the best investment that I made. I've been in the group almost 6 months since I've been out of prison. So going on 3 years, and it helped me step my entrepreneurship game. Like I learned everything about being a business owner, being an entrepreneur in this program. And that was just another investment that I had to make. because like
Nice.
I said, I thought the entrepreneurship was going to be easy. Just from the outside looking in, and you really get in it, and then especially if you're like I'm a one man. At one time, I was a one man team. I was the one. It's just me. I'm learning the ins and outs. I'm learning how to do the books. I'm learning how to do the flyers. I'm learning how to edit the videos. Like I know, I'm learning how to do all of this, set everything up. So now I know how to do it. So when I hire somebody to do it, you can't if you can't do it, but just get out the way and let me do this. Because I've trained myself to know every aspect of it. Whether it's the systems for your website or systems for whether it's a landing page. Like I've learned all of these, and this comes from being in the business course that I invested in over the years and learning these things and taking the initiative to, what they say, knowledge is not power, it's the applying the knowledge.
Apply, taking action.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that's what I did was take the action.
I love that your approach. Same thing. I feel like if you're starting a business, you can't afford to pay people to do stuff. Then you need to learn it yourself, homie. Learn how to do it yourself. But when you have the ability to bring some team members in, you need to hire the experts and let them come on in. But it's great to know. You need to know accounting. You need to know basic accounting for your own business. People get got all the time. Hear celebrities all the time that have gone for tax evasion because they didn't know basic accounting. So I love that. That's my approach. Know the basics and do what you can. But when you can afford to hire experts to come in, do that there. So that's awesome. Awesome. Yes.
So once again, we are talking with Cardell Sims in regards to his journey from inmate to inspiration. And China says, awesome. Learn before you delegate, which
All
is
day.
very...
Most definitely. Got to learn. I mean, a lot of people jump out there and they don't know, and then they crash out, and that's like with the reentry. Like if you don't prepare yourself and know that these certain obstacles is going to be there, know that you're going to need this, know that you're going to need that. If you're getting out and you're not knowing this, then you're getting out and you're like, well, I don't have nothing. So I'm just going to go back to what I know.
That's right. That's what happens.
Once that thought kicks in right there, you already 1 foot headed back to prison. You already 1 foot headed back to the penitentiary just off that thought. Because what happens is you open the door for criminality to be an option. And that's one thing that you got to kill getting out of prison. You can't never have criminality as an option coming out of prison. If you one of the ones that say, man, I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna try, but if it don't work, you already got one step back going to prison because you just open the door for criminality to be an option. I'm gonna rob something. I'm gonna go pick up a pack. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, and it's all illegal. So now criminality is an option, and you already 1 foot toward the penitentiary. When I got out this time, my options was on the paper. If it wasn't on that paper, then it wasn't an option. It just
So-
what it was.
Cardell, with that being that was your journey from inmate to inspiration, how have you transitioned into relationships since you've spent so much time in between state and federal prison? Where is your mind mentally when it comes to relationships?
What kind of relationships you talking about, Janet? What kind of relationship?
What type of relationships?
I'm talking about all kinds of relationships because he spoke profoundly on how he has developed his business relationship. Because at one time he was the only dolo, he was all by himself, but he learned to gradually include teammates. And even he said in speaking with teammates that sometimes he's like, "Oh, if you can't get it done, just let me go." But then, how have you into man-woman relationships? I mean, where are you along this journey?
Or man, we don't know.
I'm just saying, I'm asking all kinds of questions. As the interviewee, I have that right. I said man, woman. Where are you? Hello.
So as far as business relationships, my business relationships is great because I'm not afraid to ask whether it's finding a mentor or asking somebody to be a mentor. I had no problem with it. So I build relationships with different people, not just on the fact of what can you do for me, but more to what do you need me to do if I can help you in any way? What do you need me to do? And I built a lot of relationships. Like my biggest business relationship is with a company called Inventive, which is the parent company of JPay and Securius. For those who've been in prison or incarcerated, you know that JPay does emails and Securius, they do the phones. So for me to build a partnership with people that's have the technology in prison and get my reentry curriculum on these tablets, that comes from me pursuing business relationships, not afraid.
Great, great.
Yes or no. I took a motto was you either gonna tell me yes, you gonna tell me no.
No,
I've been told yes before. I've been told no
no,
before.
no. Before.
You know,
You know,
And
I
that's
know we
so
don't have.
true because in business, you have to either take the yes or you take the no. It's no, I don't know. It's either yes or no. And if you get a no, you just get back up and try
yeah.
for another
Okay.
yes.
And a no
So,
might be a simple. Sorry, a no might be. And I always figure out why was the no. What somebody says no. Why no? It's all I want to know. Why no? Because it might be
that's
something I
good.
need to polish up on.
That is
That's
true.
good. I
That
need to
is
write that
true.
down. Why no? Because I don't always find out why I get a no. So I need to look at that. Thank you, Carter. I know we don't have a lot of time left, but you talk about these contracts, like your stuff on the iPad. How are you doing that?
Either yes or either no. Like JPay, they interviewed me. They sent me
Uh
an
huh.
email, and I just glanced through the email. Like you want to do the interview, I said yeah. Not really focusing in on who the email was from. And I like to share my story. So I share my story, and then we're talking afterward to see like yeah, we're trying to do a new look for inside. We just trying to have a new look because people always think we just want their money. I'm like, well, who you represent again? And she's like JPay, and I'm like JPay in the prisons, right? The emails and all. She's like yeah.
Wow.
So a light bulb went out. Okay, I need to make this connections because I'm trying to get into prisons, whether it's
Mm.
me physically in the prisons or me getting a reentry on the tablet. So I asked, "What type of reentry stuff do you have on the tablets inside of prisons?" Their answer was, "We really don't have nothing but a couple." I'm like, "They don't have no curriculum or nothing." No, I got a curriculum. Here you go. Put this on the tablet.
Wow, wow. That is really phenomenal. Because as you stated in the early conversations about not really having the opportunity to encourage your mind and build and study, now that you've provided something for them to use as a curriculum, now you're getting them to get into the books and study and prepare and get that plan to get them out of the prison.
And so then they started a reentry division. The a black lady from Tennessee, Aisha, I can't think of her last name. So she's over the
Aisha. Never
yeah,
mind.
she's over,
Sorry.
yeah. See, you from my area right there.
You, I'm a jokester. You can't pay me no attention. Proceed.
And so I seen this once. I read the article on Facebook. They published the article. Jay Payne Security Preventives got a new head of reentry. Okay, that's the head of reentry. I'm already connected to the communication department of JPay and Secures. So now I need to get to the reentry partner. So the senior manager of the communications that I was in partnership with, I like this article. I sent her the article. So I liked it. Can you introduce me and put me on on the reentry team? So she made the introductions. We had our call last week. Now we're looking to build more, and hopefully, they can cut me a contract, a check to be on the reentry team. But
Hey.
if they don't cut the contract or the check, guess what? I'm still here to help any way that I can because I believe service is king. I believe it's not about what you gather, but what you scatter is going to tell you the kind of life that you have lived.
Oh, well, well,
Mm.
well, well. Can you say that one more time? It's
It's
not
not,
the life
it's not,
that you
yeah,
gather.
it's not about what you gather, but what you scatter. It's going to tell you the kind of life that you have lived.
Yes, yes. That is amazing. That is amazing. Okay, okay.
And
I
oh
like
yeah,
that.
and my other relationship, as far as personal, me and my fiance, we've been on and off for 21 years,
Wow.
right?
Whoa, that's a Nakia story. Well,
What
she married hers,
for,
but
for
go
20
ahead.
for 20 years. Let's say 20 years. Excuse me. And the reason why I was off was because my life in the streets, and she just wasn't accepting that. Like you go to the streets, I'm gonna do whatever. You go to prison, that's on you. I got to do what I got to do out here, and because she got her own path, her own career that she's pursuing. So we was on and off for 21 years, and then when I got out, and it was like a 7 year break or more. So when I got out of the feds, and she really seen that I really left everything alone, then it was like we had to get to know each other yet again. It's like we're two different people from when I was 22, 23 in the 30s to now I'm almost 40, or at the time I was 40 and trying to, like I think a whole nother different way. And so it's crazy how that relationship came back around, and it's the best that it's ever been, because the other time was I was too busy out in the streets. I was doing any and everything they got to do. We all know what comes along with the streets, infidelity. I was selling drugs. I'm out. I'm not, I'm just doing me. And so we really didn't know each other. And now you think like, well, we've been in and out of the relationship for 20 something years. And now here it is, the last almost 4 years since I've been home, that we've been together. And it's like we really now just getting to know and understand each other over these past 4 years.
Wow. This has been a powerful, thought-provoking, just your journey is truly amazing. I mean, what would you want to say to others that maybe watching, experiencing, what words of inspiration would you give?
I mean, I live by this quote, and it says right here, it says, don't let the limitations of your background reduce the height of your potential. Outgrow what you were born into. And a lot of people say, well, Inmate to Inspiration is my book, my journey, my story. How I challenge certain beliefs, how I prioritize my values, how I raise expectations for myself, along with 4 keys that I implemented called Hustle, Attitude, Vision, and Education, which is another book. While we're talking about the books, you can go to my website, cardellsims.com/Soultiful, and you can order these books. Inmate to Inspiration, you get 25% off. You got Inmate to Inspiration, my journey, my story, how I freed myself from self-destruction, what it took, challenging my beliefs, prioritizing what I value, and raising expectations for myself. And then it has a re-entry tips in the second half of the book, and a letter to the inmates for those that are incarcerated, and also inmate being somebody that has been impacted or letting something impact them negatively, mentally, and then allowing it to take energy from them. You're an inmate to that situation or that circumstance or that thing. And so I also have another book called I Can, I Will, I Do, I Am. Every morning when I woke up in prison, when my feet hit the ground, I said thank you. And I said an affirmation. The affirmation I said for the first 6-7 months was, I am greater than this situation. That's what I said every morning. I'm greater. And for that day, I had to prove why I was greater than this to myself. Why am I greater than this situation? And I was on the knowledge. I went out and seek knowledge and start putting everything together. Then I have another book called Have, Hustle, Attitude, Vision, and Education, the keys to success. I don't say these are the only keys to success. I'm saying these are the keys that help me be successful. I had to have the right attitude. I had to have the vision. I had to have the education. Then I had to put the work in. I had to have the hustle. So hustle, attitude, vision, education, the keys to success. You got to have it.
Whoa. And I'm already, those books would be good for people who are already even out of prison and can't find their way.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Okay. Nakia, behave. Okay.
I think we all know some people that will benefit from reading these books, and trying to ask, how do you get the books? As you can see, sis, that is the website. And when you use that link, you get a 25% discount. Thank you.
Yay! Thank you, Cardell. Thank you, Cardell. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been another great episode. I do believe we were doing soul jazz, but we were so enthralled into the conversation that we forgot to even mention that you all needed to type soul jazz and go from there. And so we forgot all about it. So first, let me apologize for that. In addition, guess what? We're 1 week and 4 days away from the VA World Conference. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, please make sure to log on to vaworldconference.com and purchase your tickets. And just to get you even more excited, Next week Tuesday, we have our keynote speaker, Tasha Booth, live on Soultiful. So make sure that you join us right back here. Always remember to like, share, and subscribe. We thank you, Cardell, for an excellent conversation in regards to your journey from inmate to inspiration.
Thank you all for having me on.
Oh, it was our pleasure. We look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday, live on Soultiful at 4 p.m. Bye-bye.
And Cardell, we want you to come back. We're gonna bring some brothers on so we can have like a real, dialogue. So if you're open to that.
Yeah, I'm open to it.
Okay, awesome.
And I'm gonna come with my Kango hat, and so we could be ready.
So I wear my chain and the hat. And
yeah.
Oh, we got that in the building.
Hey, Mama Deutsch.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Bless.
Hi, and welcome to Soultiful.